Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Extinct Bricks Originals! Chunji Kwale or Happy Chinese New Year! And since this is the year of the ox, we are going to feature the LEGO compatible custom Extinct Bricks Originals AUROCHS! But before we get a move on with the video, I'd like to say thanks to youtube.com audio library for this awesome background music! And of course, please subscribe and hit the notification button on my YouTube page. You can also follow me on my social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and of course here in YouTube, I also have a new account in LYKA under extinct_bricks. To support the channel for now, please do not skip the ads on my video and all the rest of the videos. Thanks everyone! The Guess PC contest winners will be announced at the end of the video, but for now, here is how you can join. Please click on the Extinct Bricks icon, and on that same homepage you will find the community link. Just click on it and then join the contest. I'll see you there! It's like watching a prehistoric Panador show, don't you think? Well anyways, let's move on with the making of the AUROCHS. And as usual, the AUROCHS is actually made of several parts to it. This is called kit bashing. You can see that it is actually made up from the tiger parts as well as raptor parts to it, and as well as other Lego pieces. After the kit bashing is actually over, and I think this is actually going to work for the figure, I then started off with sculpting. And this is actually where the overall shape of the ox or the creature, in this case the AUROCHS, will be actually taking place. And here is it when it is being dried. Okay, so after this, I started on with the primer. This time I actually used a black primer for it. I still use the Bosnia one because it actually dries very fast. And of course, after this, I started on the details. And since the AUROCHS is actually overall black in its color, I went down already with the white details to it, such as this tip of the nose, and of course some other colors for the horns, as well as the stripe on its back, which is also white. There are of course some other details such as brown colors on some parts of the skin, but this actually came out later. Among the details that I actually added to this one would be of course colors on the hooves, or to actually call this a toenail, but yeah, it is actually a hoof. So after that coloration on the hooves, I think it's actually light gray. I move on with other colors such as other highlights of the skin, such as dark browns, and of course other highlights such as a little bit of blonde on some of the areas, but those are really subtle designs that I really have to include on this particular figure. I actually used two references for this. I noticed that the AUROCHS actually has a really shiny skin to it, so I figured I would like to add some shimmer of skin or fur to this particular creature. So with that, I actually used a gold color or paint to this one, added this, a little bit of black and also browns to it. I highlighted the top parts of this figure so that it will have a little bit of shine when the light actually touches it. So you can see it like this, right? Looks cool, right? This is actually the same technique that I used for one of my marine creatures, the Dunkleosteus. If you haven't seen that, please go ahead and watch it. So a little bit of forecast on the Chinese zodiac sign, the ox. The ox is very hardworking and methodical. 2021 is going to be a year when hard work will get rewarded, and those zodiac signs who are lucky in terms of money this year will be the ones that will make the considerable effort. This year is going to be lucky and also perfect to focus on relationships, whether we are talking about friendships or love. Going back to the figure, we actually added some color to the horns as well as the eyes. That's it for our making of the AUROCHS. Let's now move on with assemblix. You can do it and let's bolt in. This figure actually has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts to it. The 6th part is actually the head. It's actually already attached to it because it's quite hard to remove with all the paint not chipping. So it's already in place for this particular figure. Okay, so let's move on and connect the the front legs. and then the hind legs for the left parts. Okay, so let's move on to the other side, the right parts. Okay, and that's about it. Very simple, easy breezy. The LEGO compatible custom AUROCHS. Now it's time for us to move on to the closer look. Now for the closer look, of course, Moira is here to be presenting this particular figure. She's really excited because she has a farm back in her province, and she has lots of caribous there. Although it's technically not a cow, or not an ox, it's still the same, I guess. Moira will be coming back later for some size comparisons, but for now, let's have a closer look on this. Okay, so the AUROCHS is actually an extinct species of cow, or should I say cattle, and it has this forward pointing horns to it. It also has tufts of hair on top of its head. It has a distinctive stripe of white going down from its neck to its back. The AUROCHS is actually rather big, and it's usually bigger than the average cow at least, and it has this black undercoat and also overcoat. It does have also a white muzzle to it. They call it a muzzle, and it is very unique in some ways. And of course, in terms of articulation, it can actually move its legs, and like every other figure that I have, and it also can move its head from a raised position to a charging position. So that's really cute, right? Okay. And I guess that is it for our closer look. We can now move on with the size comparisons. And for the size comparisons, not only we will be comparing it with the minifigure, it will also be compared with other zodiac signs that I have. At least looks like the zodiac signs that I have so far, like maybe the snake and also others. But first, let's move on with the size comparisons with the regular minifigure. You can see here that the minifigure here, which is Moira, is actually just about the right size compared to an AUROCHS here in the picture. Okay, so let's now move on with other comparisons, such as those with the members of the Chinese zodiac sign. So I brought up here the extinct Rex Gallimimus. The Gallimimus is actually brought here because since I don't have a rooster, I don't think there is even an extinct rooster, at least from that time. The Gallimimus is actually called the chicken mimic. So comparing it with the AUROCHS, definitely the Gallimimus is a lot larger than that of the extinct ox here. Okay, so let's move on with the next one. This is the extinct Rex Titanoboa. Now, you must have guessed it right. The Titanoboa actually represents the zodiac sign for the snake. And this time it's a really big snake, right? I do have a Lego piece of a snake, but since we're comparing it with my figures here, I'd rather place the Titanoboa, of course. So comparing it in size, definitely the snake or the Titanoboa is a hell of a lot longer than that of the ox. You can only see here from way back there that it cannot even fit the screen. So it's really long, although technically, of course, it is smaller in overall diameter. But anyways, I think the cow or any other mammals like this would be an easy prey for the Titanoboa. Gives me chills actually. I'm not a fan of snakes, to be honest, because I rather find them a little bit too scary. Anyway, so let's move on to the next one, the Year of the Tiger. And of course, I have here the extinct Rex Smilodon. The Smilodon is actually also known as the saber-toothed cat or tiger. There are certain subspecies of Smilodon that are actually really large, and comparing it, at least this is Smilodon, the Smilodon populator, with that of the AUROCHS, you can see that it's almost the same size. Now let's move on to the next. This is the extinct Rex Quagga. And you must have guessed it right, this is for the Year of the Horse. The quagga is actually a close relative of the zebra, and the zebra is definitely a close relative of the modern horse. And comparing the sizes for both of these figures, you can see that the Quagga and also the AUROCHS is actually almost the same size, although the AUROCHS is actually a little bit more larger. Okay, so let's move on with this one. This is the Extinct Rex Gigantopithecus. Now, you may have probably still be looking which zodiac sign it is, but it's kind of a little bit obvious because this is for the year of the monkey. It's not technically a monkey, it's an ape, but hey, this is all I have. So let's do it. So this is the Gigantopithecus that I made a few months back. If you haven't seen the video, please watch it. It's a really cool video. In terms of size, the Gigantopithecus is really large, and when standing, it is much taller than that of the AUROCHS. Okay, so I don't have all of the species for all the zodiac signs yet, but maybe when I have them completed, I will do that. And here is the Extinct Rex roll call. Let's start with this one, the Titanoboa, Gigantopithecus, the Jurassic Park or Jurassic World Gallimimus, the Spilodon, and the Quagga. And of course, here is the AUROCHS. And that is it for the collection. Please watch all my videos on the other figures that I've shown here. Now it's time for us to have some last looks on the AUROCHS. The AUROCHS is actually also known as the urus or the ur. It actually came from the Latin words urus, meaning wild ox, and compounded with the word also meaning ox in German. The AUROCHS lived in the early Pleistocene period and actually died off year 1627. It is part of the Bovidae family. It can grow up to a length of 7.87 feet, weight of 800 kilograms, and a height of 6 feet. Wow, that's large for an ox. It's feeding time for the AUROCHS. Moira is really happy tending to the needs of the AUROCHS, and here she is on its enclosure. And that's it for the video on the AUROCHS. I hope you guys liked it as much as I did. It is now time for us to announce the Guess SPC contest winners, and we have 10 lucky picks, and here they are. Gaunt Droid, Catbird Glokowiak, Zaki PH, Lola Perez Martinez, Tyrannosaurus Animation Studios, Parker Soares, Choi Hara, Orion Kroom, Dinosaurus Imperius, and Miguel Philip Eisen. Congratulations everyone! And now for our top 10 winners!
Top 10!
Italian Glitch,
Top 9!
Lelmo Samsam Pangante,
Top 8!
Jurassic Rex,
Top
Master
7!
Jackson,
Top 6!
Minerva Reboliar,
Top
42
5!
Ostriches,
Top 4!
Timo Mado,
Top
Junior the Infant T-Rex,
Top 2!
Irfan Reduba, and
Top
Dinomation.
1!
Congratulations everyone, and I'll see you on the next Guess SPC contest. Also, our babies Moira and Asher has their own vlog now, The Adventures of Moira and Asher. Please watch their videos and support their channel as well by subscribing. Thanks for the support everyone! And as we always would say, let your inner dino brick roar!